Hey, welcome back, everybody.
He's Justice.
And she's Faith.
And together we make up the Justice and Faith Show. We can never get that right, so it is what it is.
Like episode 100, we'll finally get it.
So today we have entitled our episode, "The Most Valuable Thing on Earth."
And for a lot of people, it can mean a lot of different things. Just quick disclaimer, I don't feel the best, so if my voice goes in or out, or it breaks, or cough, or whatever the case may be, I just don't feel well. Don't think I have corona. I hope not. But all my last tests came back negative, so I'm going to schedule one just to make sure.
You just got plain old sick.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
I don't know why. I don't. This will be my third time getting sick. I usually only get sick twice a year. I think it has something to do with those spices. Because I didn't start feeling better, and then my dentist worked. So I think my body's working and then not sleeping. So my body's like, I don't think it's recovering well enough. And then that's why getting your rest and getting your fluids
way too many things.
It's very important, because my body is like, look, dog, we got to do all this other stuff, and I guess you're going to get sick again. So I have to take better care of myself in that way. Mm-hmm. But let's get back to the point.
Yes. So the most valuable thing on Earth.
So if you ask the general public, what do you think most people would say?
The general public. So I would probably get a range of answers from parents to kids to friends to maybe even some like possessions, cars, houses, things like that. I probably would get a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people place a lot of value on things that they have, things that they've obtained. If you're a business owner.
A job. That would be something too. Like if someone's proud of their job.
A job, or if you're a business owner, you're proud of that, and it takes a lot of time. So, excuse me, the value that you have for that is probably going to be enormous. One thing I've learned in asking people is that I don't think I've heard anyone say that the most valuable thing on earth to them is their spouse. Now, granted, this podcast is mostly geared towards married people. All right, so there are relationship aspects that anybody can listen to, but this particular episode is mostly geared towards married people, because we're talking about finding the value in your spouse. Because biblically speaking, if you're into that type of thing, biblically speaking, the most important person to you on earth is your spouse. So Faith is the most important person to me on earth, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. For years, I just kind of exalted my daughter, because one, she needs me. Two, she holds a certain place in my heart. And then three, I always said the best parts of me and the things that I do right and stuff were for her. And I had to learn, that can't be it. Because my goal is to raise her to be a nice, well-rounded young lady to move on and have her own life. When that comes, what do I have left? If I didn't spend that time showing the value or enhancing the value of my wife, then what am I left with? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, and Faith, you said you think that a lot of people...
Yeah, so if you're asking someone, most of the time, I would think the reason that they wouldn't say their spouse or significant other or whatever would be because a lot of times it's just kind of a given with some people well, yeah, duh, you're my most valuable possession or my most valuable thing on earth, duh. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say my second most, or whatever. So I think sometimes it's a given, and it's we kind of take for granted that. I know I take him for granted sometimes because I never really had any, I had some other boyfriends before him, but they weren't to the same caliber, obviously, because he's my husband. So, but certain things he's just always done, and it's just him, inherently him. So it's not something that I think about. It's just something I take for granted. And so...
And we've had discussions about that, and I think it was harder for you to understand it. I actually saw you, we were having a discussion before we started, and I actually saw it on her face where she's like, and it didn't offend me. She was like, I don't really know how I find value in you. Yeah. And I understood where she was coming from, because for her, it's been different. I've seen exponential growth in her. So whereas the value that I placed on her before was predicated on the fact that she's supremely loyal to me. She's very structured. She's very loving. She has a lot of adoration for me, even when I don't deserve it. Even if we fight a little bit, within the span of time, she still loves on me. And I'm a lot, and it's not crazy loving on me. It's not like we have a knockdown, drag out fight and she's loving on me in a malicious-y type of way. Like it's legit, like genuine. And I'm like, that is important. I believe I don't know anybody else like that. Now there could be, but based off what I did the first time and the fact that she's never raked me over the coals about it, I still can go out and do certain things. There's a respect, there's an honor, and there's value in doing that because I know guys who they got to check in every 5-10 minutes. Like I'll go somewhere and people's like, "Oh, you gotta get home," and I'm like, "No, we're like we're fine." Like I'm not doing anything wrong, and the fact that she trusts me to make better decisions, she trusts me to have that value and honor her as my wife. That is supremely important, and that's valuable because I don't game. It's not a game. Like some people look at it like, "Oh, your wife doesn't check in on you. You can do anything," and I'm like, you know what? The next one or the past one, I've been with people where I wasn't doing anything wrong, and they're all up my butt, and it's not fun. It's not pleasant to be accused of things you're not doing. It's not fun to always have to have some kind of explanation for things because honestly, there was times I really didn't remember certain stuff, and that was a problem in itself. I don't really have those issues other than the whole missing car incident, missing car debacle. But 2020 has been a hell of a year, so that's not going to happen again.
But that was something like as we were talking before we started recording, I kind of came to the realization that I think part of what I really value about him is what he has done for me personally in the growth that he was talking about, and sometimes like the things we value about our partner are the things that annoy us. But
not in my case. The things I value about you, I truly value. The things that annoy me truly annoy me. No.
But yeah, so I think he has been like really just instrumental in my growth personally as a person, as a woman, as everything, because he pushed me to do better and not just settle for what I was, because that's just the kind of guy he is. So that's something.
Do you think that you felt more value in yourself as a result?
Yes, definitely.
Because
I take better care of my appearance. I take better care of just like making sure that I'm in a good position and I can like be a little bit more of an equal partner in the relationship.
Which she has definitely, and that's the thing that kind of prompted me to come up with this particular topic, because I didn't always value her. I loved her, but sometimes I felt like I loved her due to convenience. Sometimes I felt like I loved her just because she was my best option. There were different things that I struggled with in my head, but honest, especially the last few weeks, for whatever reason, I think the Spirit's just been on my heart with some things, and I'm really going through this growth period where there's some really good things that's happening inside. And one of the things is really looking at, like, this year has been terrible for most people. It has been terrible. There have been deaths. There's been job loss. There's been so much going on. When I tell you this has probably been the biggest year of growth for me personally, the best year in some ways, it's not even an exaggeration, because there's things that a couple months ago, if you said or you told me and stuff, I would have freaked out. I would have, I would have not panicked, but I wouldn't have handled it very well.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, the reason why I don't have that panic, the reason why I don't have that chicken with its head cut off kind of, even if you don't see it, sometimes I am definitely overwhelmed and I'm just like, I can't do this, but I have to. It's because I trust her and I value her, and I know that she's going to do what she needs to help, and she does, and she does so many little things, and I truly appreciate it, because it takes some of the slack off of me, and then hopefully, prayerfully, in the next month or so, she's gonna be able to do even more. And then I can kind of cultivate things that I want to do for myself, which hopefully enhances the whole value of our family and just, goals that we have moving forward. So,
and that's definitely something, obviously, we talked about that, like, that I value now about you, other than just what you've done for me. I have seen a lot of things, growth, and, like, I'm, like, kindness, like, patience, like, you're a lot more, like, you have some more self-control, you have more...
Yeah, I'm
like,
very hair
love,
trigger. Like, I don't have a lot, it's weird. I don't have a lot of patience sometimes, like, and you don't really know when it's, God bless you. You don't really know when it's coming because I don't, and then I always feel terrible because it's just I'm overwhelmed, and sometimes I don't let it. I'm not letting it be known that I'm overwhelmed. Like right now, I don't feel very well, but I have things I need to do for work. I want to work on some things for my personal brand. I want to sleep. I want to eat. You know, I want to just relax, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to take place, and that kind of overwhelms me. But another thing I value, I've learned there's a few nuggets from our first go around that I kind of always had, even with my accent. I would bring them up, and I'm notorious for that. But I'm like, some things are just good things. And one of the things I remember you telling me was something about cleaning the bathroom or something, and you pretty much were just like, if it's not killing someone or if it's not hurting them, doesn't need to happen. That was one of the realest things I ever heard because, like, I'm a shopaholic. I love shopping. When I go, like, I have lists. I've been shopping maybe twice this week or within the last 2 weeks because I had to go, why do I need that milk today? Why do I need those cucumbers today? Because I'm not going to cut them up. I have a whole different meal. And sometimes I put that on myself and I do it, so then I have them, so then I do it, and then I waste time cutting up cucumbers and doing other stuff that I don't really need to do. And it's like you already had a plan. You already meal prep. Just come home and eat. You're already taking care of it. And I'm learning to be more cognizant of that because of her, because she has a lot, like even the way I pack my lunches and stuff now. Like when I go, like I'm more meticulous about how I pack my lunches, where I grab a few fruits and I grab a few actual snacks and I grab something that's, you know, easy for me to eat depending on the situation. Because I've watched her. Like she has long days sometimes where she's out the house for most of the day and she kind of just stacks her stuff up. Now I'm pretty sure she's out there snitching. But at the same time, I understand I really can't afford to be out there snitching. And when I'm not adequately prepared, you just it kind of happens. And, you know, we have, you know, personal goals, we have fitness goals and things like that. So just watching her and just understand that we have
so close to 25 pounds lost. I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm 4 pounds away from my goal too. 4.6, but whatever. We're gonna round down.
So close.
But
so yeah, and that's something that I definitely value in you is your you motivated me to become healthier and to do things like watching you do it for however many weeks before I really started joining in. Like
it was months. It was not weeks.
Well, how many weeks are in a month?
More than you're counting. You're acting like it was 2 weeks later. You're like, all right, let me get on this.
But it's definitely helped me, and now it's just part of my routine.
And it shocks me because there's days she's like, I'm another annoyance, and I've learned not to say anything. She tells me, all right, I'm waking up, going to the gym, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. In my head, I'm like, why is she telling me this? I don't care, because if you happen to not go, are you going to hold yourself accountable, or are you expecting me to hold you accountable? I think part of it is that if she tells me and she doesn't do it, I think she's learned that even though I'm not going to say anything to her, I don't care, because I trust her now to make up for it and do the things that she needs to do. I think she's saying it because she wants me to hold her accountable. And I had to understand that instead of me saying, like, stop telling me that and being annoyed by it. I had to just appreciate the fact that she goes, hey, these are my plans. This is what I'm planning, because honestly, there might be things I have going on. And she wakes up fairly early in the morning. She goes to the gym. She comes home. She gets herself ready and she goes about her day. And I'm very proud of her because she does it consistently. She goes to the gym almost as much as I do. And I missed 2 days this week. Just because, like I said, I haven't been feeling too well.
But I still tell people that I go 3 or 4 times a week, but it's usually probably closer to 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's she goes, if not, because even on my rest day I go and I do cardio. Every other week maybe I'll miss 1 day, and that's just based off my overnight work schedule sometimes. But she has been doing it on. I haven't been saying, "Are you going to the gym?" I haven't been saying, "What are you eating?" Like she does her meal prep. There are certain snacks that I buy that she likes and whatever. Sometimes she wants her, her chips and dip. And before it was a thing where I'm like, chips and dip every night. Now I'm kind of like, I kind of want to get them for her because it's a treat that she's earned. Because she has learned that she doesn't need them and she's found alternatives. And like a lot of times I'll see you at night, you're not really snacking. There's nights where you do, but you have different options and stuff like that.
And now my snacking options have changed. Like I'll get like 100-calorie pack of something, or like one of my pre-portioned out things of pretzels, or so. But yeah, so that's something that I feel is very important to know in any relationship. Specifically, we're talking about marriage, but I feel like in any relationship, you need to know what it is about that person that you value. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily a romantic relationship, because you can apply some of these things to what do I value about my family? What do I value about my job? What do I value about, like, some of these principles can be applied to a lot of different things. Because just knowing and being able to articulate what you value about whatever it is that you're doing, if you are using your time to do something or to be with someone, or like if there's someone or something that's a big part of your life, there should be a way for you to articulate what it is about that thing or person or place or whatever that you value or that values you.
And if you don't value somebody, like it causes you to take a deep look at some things and really understand, like, why don't I value this person, or did I used to? What was it that got me here? A lot of times, what gets us here is not what keeps us here. Like,
and we talked about that.
People get married for love, and love. I don't want to say love, but that obsessive infatuation love, that definitely wanes. That lustful love, that excitable love, that stuff wanes, and it kind of ebbs and flows. And sometimes you have to reignite that spark, but when you let schedules and children and just the day-to-day nuances of life get a hold of you, it becomes more difficult to kind of keep those things together. So that's when you look at the person and you find that value. Like, if you're a truck driver and you're on the road all the time, you have a wife that's home with the kids or holding the house down, it's like, I appreciate the fact that she's doing that. As the wife might say, I appreciate the fact that you put your body and your life and everything on the line to go out there to try to provide income for our family and stuff. Now, I could never do that because I want to be with my family. However, it is value and understanding, like, hey, I want to do the best I can as a provider. This offers our family the best position as far as I'm concerned. And you have to respect that, because it is, if you have a situation where you're married to somebody and they're just like, this is the best thing for our family, that value becomes enhanced. And hopefully when you have that time together, you understand the sacrifices that both of you, because it's not easy to be a stay-at-home mom. There's a lot of, I think that people get it wrong. Like, being with kids all day is very difficult, especially if you have multiple ones, depending on how your temperament is and stuff like that. And it gets very boring sometimes in a way that you get stir crazy because you're dealing with kids. And so that's valuable. A lot of people hear, oh, you stay at home, you're not worth anything. Even a stay-at-home husband, it's like, you're worthless. And it's like, do you understand that woman might be out there living out her dream and doing what she's been wanting to do, and that man is sacrificing to stay home because he's not making as much money, or he doesn't have the ability to do certain things. So all those things are important. And instead of just judging people, I've definitely really learned to just go, there's value in everything, there's value in everybody. We need to focus more on finding the value in people. And specifically when you're married, understand that your spouse is the most valuable thing to you. Your car can break down, you can get another car. Your house can burn down, you can get another car. Hell, if you have 5 kids, like, one of them decides they want to talk to you, you got 4 more. Like, it's just these little things. But it's like, your spouse, if you're blessed, you have one of those. And that person, that might be the person that's wiping your vomit up, that's wiping your butt. That person is the one that might wipe your tears or just lay with you when you're not doing well. That might be the person that's feeding you. That might be the person that's laughing with you. There, when you watching the Eagles keep losing and losing, that might be the person that just, oh damn, I just realized we had on the green. This wasn't that. I didn't even realize that. But when you watch that, you kind of suffer through that together. And having the right person with you is very important. One that understands that you bring stuff to the table and you're thankful for that.
Yeah. So I think that's all we really have today. We're going to keep this a little bit shorter than some of the other ones because he's not feeling great, and there's not as much to unpack with this one as some of the other ones. So do you have any final things you want to talk about before we sign off?
The only thing I would say is that the people that talk to me about the podcast, that see the podcast, I keep beating this dead horse. Comment within the podcast or comment within the YouTube channel, right? So we can answer some things directly. I have a lot of discussions with people who watch it, and they have talked and they have questions about it. Like, what's your next one going to be about? And it's kind of like, because they're like, "Cause your last one," and I watched it with and it's like, we can't see who watches what. So if you're a friend, we can't necessarily see that. So just comment. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. There's going to be more growth within the next year.
Yeah.
Specifically with me, after the new year, I have some things that I'm coming out with.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for that. So
we're probably going to go back to weekly.
Yes.
After the
forgot
new
about
year.
that. We're probably going to go back to weekly because we want to keep providing content because we want these messages out there. Like, I'm pretty sure people can hear them and see them in certain aspects, but I believe that we have a very specific way of looking at things just based off of where we've been and where we're at. Even a few episodes ago, we're different as a couple. I think that there's been a lot more growth and stability between us where, and the podcast I think is actually part of the reasons for it because, like I said, before we started talking, she kind of looked puzzled when she was like, I don't really know exactly what I value about you. And that was a very important thing because there's been times where I felt undervalued, but I have to understand she's never quite been with anybody like me, and I've always been who I was, and I've always worked to get better and to keep growing. So if I'm failing or I'm not doing something, she didn't have to tell me, like, do better, fix this. There was already things that I'm already working on. So it's hard to find value when you're like, oh, you're doing it on your own. I don't have to say anything. So just the person that you're with, the situation that you're in, just look at them and really trying to find the value. Do the best that you can to enhance that value. Do the best that you can to enhance their value, but always push them to look at themselves as a valuable commodity too. If she doesn't look at herself as a valuable commodity, I can't value her the way I want to.
Right.
And vice versa. So we're gonna be signing off. I'm starting to choke. I'm talking too much.
So, well, like he said, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram.
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on the podcast platforms. We're probably gonna be coming up with a Twitter. So anything else, carrier pigeons, smoke signals, whoever else you need to get a hold of us, just get a hold of us. We believe that this can reach some people. I actually have helped some people personally. I'm trying to get some testimonials and do some things. Still trying to understand the scheduling and the COVID, trying to get together with people is difficult. So I want to learn how to maybe do a split screen or something like that for some of the people that I've kind of helped or given advice to, or maybe Faith has spoken to, and she's learned and cultivated some things too. So this is Justice signing off, saying keep your faith strong
and maintain justice.
Bye.
Bye.